as a fan of MCU movies and in general this story, what are you so excited or expect to see in this movie? And like what, because you loved Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
I just liked it fine.
I loved it.
Yeah. So so I want to know why you loved it and why you're looking forward to this so much.
Well, I love the first because the reason I love the first one so much, before Infinity War, Winter Soldier was my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah. That's still my favorite.
Yeah, it's because this is my favorite Avenger movie for sure. It is everything that I wanted from comic books and the way that watching all the heroes kind of fight together. It's also, if you jump into that movie for your first movie, I can understand why people are like, there's no real development. All the development comes from the previous films. All the development comes from the investment that I've made. I just think that I think that I was given a promise by this studio. This is what we're all leading up to, and I believe that promise was fulfilled. I believe that when I was watching it, okay, this is the greatest, because up until, well, it was funny, right beforehand, Killmonger was the best MCU villain. But before Killmonger, the MCU villains have been shit. They've been shitty. Bad. Yeah, I mean, it's Loki.
Like Loki, but he's not really...
He wound up turning, like, if wrestling terms, he's heel, he's face, you don't know what the hell he is. But there had never been like a real, like, Darth Vader kind of Palpatine type. And Thanos fit that for me. It was Thanos' movie. And see, I thought Thanos had the best story because, and you had to set that up. And it is Thanos' story all the way through. So to answer your question as far as what I think is going to happen, this is, to me, this is a bit going back to the predictability conversation. I'm okay in the fact everyone's going to live. We know this.
So that's I'm asking because I'm like we were talking about predictability earlier and how do you not like it, but it's like I could see everything happening in Infinity War.
Sure, and I
feel like it's going to be the same. I'm just going to enjoy it as like a fun popcorn flick. Yeah. It's just like I didn't cry. I didn't have any emotional investment. Like they didn't get me. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm trying to understand why
you'll be sad if no one actually dies.
Correct.
Right, because the predictability for one standalone film and a story that I'm not familiar with, as opposed to this is a television show, and I've been saying it. It's just a television show that happens to be released in movie theaters. So the same way that I think that a lot of the Game of Thrones could be, you could predict kind of what's going to happen, and I hope that happens. There was a certain character that came back in Game of Thrones, right? That was predictable, that everyone knew was going to happen, but it was satisfying. And so you know that because the other reason why they've told you that they're going to do certain things, Spider-Man has another movie coming out.
Of course.
So you know he's coming back.
Yeah.
You know, there are other Black Panther has another movie.
That's why the poster where Spider-Man's dead is funny.
Yeah, he's coming. But they're telling
so
you.
like, no, he's not.
Yeah, but they're telling you that though. They're basically telling you all these characters are going to come back. You know that. They're not trying to pretend.
But it's not about that to me. Like to me, it's just about hitting certain emotional points. Like with Gamora, like I actually
that
really
didn't get you.
No,
okay.
I actually really liked Thanos. Like I thought they did a really good job with the way he was written, and but those moments where people were actually dying, like it's not that I saw them coming. It's like the emotional moments didn't hit for me. Similar to like when Han Solo died.
Yeah, see, I would understand that for Force Awakens. It did get me in Avengers, especially Tom Holland's performance, because he's
great.
He's just a scared kid. He didn't know what was happening, and he played that because it was consistent throughout the whole movie, not just in the sadness parts and like the stuff where he just doesn't get everything. He's like, oh, we're calling each other by our superhero names.
Yeah.
Like
he's the one that got me.
You.
Nobody else did.
Okay. See, I got it when Groot went and Rocket, because another reason of consistency. Rocket, for the most part, is always cracking jokes, pretty hard in shell. So when he's like, no, Groot, no, like that got me. The way that they did it with Black Panther, when he is just, this is no place to die, and then he goes. It worked. Because of the past relationships with Bucky and Cap, because of how deep that relationship was, that he's the first to go and he's just up there.
But it's because of these other movies.
Correct.
More so than what's happening on screen.
Absolutely. So so that's the answer as far as the predictability and the emotion goes, because I've had all these other movies to where us hasn't had the luxury of setting up all these other movies to make me care and give them the right to say, okay, look, we're not going to do too much setup in this one because we've given you all the setup in these other movies. This has earned that to me, so this franchise. But as far as what I expect, them to come back, a time shift,